Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you have joined from. Welcome to yet another webinar from Data Platform Geeks, and these are exciting times. This month of March, we are having one webinar each day, which means a total of 20 webinars are being delivered, and that's great stuff. Today is the second webinar in this series, and I have with me Sandip Pani, who is a longtime friend and a great community guy, regional mentor for Data Platform Geeks, and of course, a very well-known SQL Server expert. And today he's going to talk about introduction to R in SQL Server. And R, as you know, is just not an alphabet. It is a very popular programming language for statisticians. Quick word about eDominer. So many of you might already know about eDominer systems, and we have a couple of initiatives under eDominer, most prominently SQLMaestros, under which we organize a lot of masterclasses, training, and consulting. We also have a unique learning product called Hands-On Labs, a very practical way of learning Microsoft Data Platform concepts. But today our focus is Data Platform Geeks, which is a community initiative. Formerly, it was called as SQL Server Geeks. And apart from a lot of things that we do under DPG, free webinars, free in-person events, we have a lot of videos online. Starting from this year, Jan onwards, we are even recording our webinars and we are posting them online on dataplatformgeeks.com and all of your members, so you have access to that. But one of our most notable community initiative is the annual conference, which we organize each year in the month of August in Bangalore. And as of today's recording, in the year 2018, DPS 2018 has already been announced. A 3-day international learning event is going to be organized in the month of August at Park Plaza Hotel in Bangalore. And PreCons are happening on 7th and 8th August. At DPS 2018, we see massive participation from 15 countries. We have more than 1,000 people who join this conference: developers, DBAs, technical leads, program managers, architects, database managers, data scientists. People from a variety of different profiles come and attend this conference. And why do we see such great participation? That is because Microsoft product team members from Redmond fly down and deliver sessions at this conference. Apart from Microsoft product experts, we also have worldwide MVPs and MCMs who join us and deliver sessions at this conference. In total, we have about 60 speakers from 15 countries delivering more than 100 sessions. We have 7 parallel tracks and 2 days of PreCon, apart from 3 days of Summit. So it's a great conference to be part of, and you may want to explore more. You can write an email to contact@dps10.com or just dial on that number if you wish to explore more about this conference. We are very thankful to our worldwide MVPs and MCMs community and even Microsoft for supporting this initiative. Or just visit dps10.com. dps10.com is where all the details are there. Here are our great team that supports all our community initiatives. Myself, Amit, and we have Manohar, Avanish, Prince, Yogesh, Surbi, and Sandeep, all of them who help us with our community work. They are very, very strongly backed by our eDominer teams in Calcutta and Bangalore. So sincere thanks to them. Without them, it is very, very difficult to pull off so many events in a given month. Of course, special thanks to Microsoft for their constant support to our efforts. And friends, before we begin, and I hand over to Sandip, quick word: all of you are members of DataPlatformGeeks.com now. Continue with your membership, continue to remain members. You have access to a lot of free learning resources. We send out bulletins every week, so please read that bulletin. It contains a lot of learning resources and material. Browse the website, look at all the different sections that we have: webinars, videos, and of course the event section. All event resources are available online. So you could please explore that at your convenience. And I think all of you by this time have already joined these Facebook group and LinkedIn group. Please join these groups. There are multiple benefits that you will get. Apart from asking questions, you will get to know about our upcoming events, upcoming initiatives. We occasionally post information about the summit also. And it's a great community to be part of. And you can involve yourself in very knowledgeable Q&A. Well, without any further delay, over to the speaker, Sandip Pani. Sandip, the stage is all yours. Thank you, friends, and I will join back again at 4 p.m.
Thank you, Amit. So just a quick check. Can you guys able to see my screen? All right. All right. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all. So today's topic, as you guys know, it is about the introduction to Microsoft R services in SQL Server. So today we'll be discussing more on how the R is integrated with SQL Server and how R behaves inside SQL Server. So a quick note about myself. My name is Sandip Pani. I work for NextGen Healthcare. And as Amit already mentioned, I'm the regional mentor at DataPlatformGeeks. Also, I'm the user lead for DataPlatformGeeks. I have 11 years of experience on Microsoft SQL Server. And I got the opportunity to speak at SQL Beats and Nottingham in 2013 and 2015. Just a minute. So I just got some input that my voice is not clear. Is it clear? Is my voice is clear to everyone?
Sandeep, just echoing a bit. So maybe if you could come closer to the mic, it would be good.
All right.
Otherwise, all good. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Amit. Is it fine now, my voice? Okay.
Yes, Sandeep, please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. And I have MCTS, MCITP certification, as well as I am more into the performance query tuning, and that is my specialized area. And I love to talk about SQL and data. I also do blogging at SQLServerGeeks.com, and my Twitter handle is Sandip Pani. So let me set the expectation for today's webinar. And after today's webinar, you can able to understand and you can able to do how to install and use R in SQL Server. This is a very basic level of sessions today, and we'll have advanced level of session in our future webinars. So today's session is only about how to do or run R code in SQL Server. Definitely, I will show some demos, quick demos, so we can understand that. And this is for both developers and DBAs. And this session is not to learn R, rather to know how R is integrated in SQL Server and how the R code is getting executed in SQL Server. So the agenda for today is about R introduction and what are the things you should know before you start R, whether you use SQL Server. If you don't use SQL Server, there are certain information you should know before you begin to learn about R. And I will show you a demo today how to install, configure, and run some R code, and with some demos. So R programming language, as today's, I can say this is one of the world's most popular programming language, and that is most widely used for statistical computing, predictive analysis, and nowadays for data science, machine learning in different areas. This is widely used. So R is an implementation of S language. S was a different language before, and now that after S language is implemented everywhere, and then the advanced version language that is called R came into picture. Revolution Analytics is a company which is acquired by Microsoft, and they have R products, and that once the Microsoft acquired Revolution Analytics, they integrated this R in SQL Server. So nowadays, if you see widely used companies who are using R are Microsoft. Of course, they have acquired R and they have integrated with Azure SDN site and Azure Machine Learning, as well as in the database 2017 also they integrated as college machine learning. Facebook is using for behavioral analysis. Google is using for advertising effectiveness and economic forecasting and various other stuffs. And if you see Twitter for data visualization and semantic clustering, these are certain examples, and these are very widely used by the companies and adopted very well. So if you see R is an open source, of course, but once this Revolution Analytics acquired by Microsoft, the Microsoft given the name with their brand, and that is called as Microsoft R Open, which is the open source R, and Microsoft R Server, which is formerly Revolution R Enterprise when it was part of Revolution Analytics. And the Microsoft integrated and enhanced certain parts of the R functionalities. So that I will be discussing in my couple of next slides. Machine learning in SQL Server. In the SQL Server 2017, they give this option of machine learning services, which was earlier in SQL Server 2016, it was only R services. So if you are using SQL Server 2016, you can find R services, or if you're using SQL Server 2017, you can find machine learning services. So prior to 2016, it was not introduced, as R is getting acquired in 2015, year of 2015, so they integrated in 2016 version of SQL Server. So R, you can use R in two ways. One is with in database, that is you can say is on premises, and another one is standalone Microsoft R Server. So this is the two versions of 2016 and 2017. When it is 2016, it is R services, and when it is 2017, it is Microsoft learning services, machine learning services. So what is R, MRO, and MRS? So definitely R is the language, M is for Microsoft, and if you see, you can do everything what you can do with your open source R, that can be done with Microsoft R open source or Microsoft R services. But reverse is not true, because Microsoft once acquired, Microsoft has put so much of effort and make this R more robust and more user friendly. And this MRO, that is Microsoft R open source, or MRS, that is Microsoft R services, which are 100% compatible with the R in terms of function, packages, and the IDEs. The MRO allows user to install an optional math library, that is multi-threaded performance. That is one of the key features which Microsoft introduced with that, so that the performance get increased by 2.5 times faster than your open source R. And also Microsoft has given many packages and functions integrated with the R. So why Microsoft R? If it is open source and if it is available outside Microsoft, why should I use R, Microsoft R? There are various regions, and one of the most important region, which is not, you may not find in this list, but in my slide, but the point is, it is integrated with your database, so the data is present near to the R service, so the data will not move from one through network. So the data is one way safe, and you can do all your analytics inside the server. That is one of the biggest advantages when the Microsoft R is integrated with your SQL Server. So it provides wide variety of statistical analytical functions, and as I said, it is more faster, it is 100% compatible, and the speed and the capacity of MRS is more broader than your open source R. And the most important point, another point is, it has a very wide community right now, and so the Microsoft R is a good choice to go with. So let's now understand how come R is how the R getting integrated with SQL Server, and how we can execute R code within SQL Server, how it behaves, and what is the environment, and how the different parts and components of R integrated within the SQL Server. So if you see in the image in the screen, SQL Server process, if you see the first one, the SQL Server exe, which is nothing but your SQL Server. So the moment you submit a query or you submit a R script, then it will go to the Launchpad process, which is nothing but another service running behind the scene when you install SQL Server. The Launchpad will decide according to your language. Just a minute, I think somebody has some questions. Okay, no. Anyways, if you have any questions, so I will happy to answer at the end of the webinar. So when you submit a R script through SQL Server Management Studio, it will go to the Launchpad process, which will decide to launch the R launcher. The R launcher is nothing but a DL service inside SQL Server, which will handle all your R requests. So this Launchpad decide based on the what language you are using. If you are using SQL Server 2016, it has only handling R. But in case of SQL Server 2017, it will decide if it is R, then it will launch the R launcher. And if it is your Python script, then it will launch the Python launcher. So once it launches the Python launcher or R launcher, in our case, it is launching the R launcher. And in that, it will send that particular R script to the R launcher, and it will process within the R term process. Once the process starts, it sends that particular message to bxlserver.exe. That is nothing but another server services which is running behind the scene when you install SQL Server, which will take care of your SQL and R reader or converter data, how it reads with the database. So suppose your script wanted to read some data from the database, then this will handle, this BXL server will handle that, and to handle that, the SQL satellite will help to communicate between the SQL Server and your R launcher. So if you see, I have written down all the steps below. The most important component here is the SP execute external script, that is a store procedure, which will send the request to the Launchpad services. Second step is Launchpad services starts the appropriate launcher. In case of 2016, it is only R. In case of 2017, it is based on the language what you pass as a parameter. The R launcher starts the external R process. You mean to see here, the external R process is nothing but it is an external process running outside the SQL Server engine. So SQL Server.exe is a different service, and R service is a different service. BXL server coordinates with the R runtime to manage the exchange of data with SQL Server and the storage. SQL satellite message communication about related tasks and processes to SQL Server. It means when the R executes its code, definitely sends a message to the SQL Server. Okay, my task is done. I need to send the information to the client. So that information is come to SQL Server, and SQL Server will return the result, and it will close the task. So if you see, it is not very much complex. It's based on two services. One is SQL Server service, another one is your BXL server, and in between your launcher is there. The launcher will launch based on your what language you are passing, and SQL satellite will use as an mediator between your SQL Server service and your BXL server. So R services for SQL professionals. So since R is used widely, we are all SQL professionals who are using database, and in our day-to-day activity, we use SSMS. So for us, it is quite easy if you use the same R code, or if you can able to run the same R code within SQL Server and inside SSMS. So we are quite used to with running store procedures. So because of that, if you can, so we can execute our code just by calling a store procedure, which you just discussed before that. That is sp underscore execute underscore external underscore script. And you can consume that output of that using SQL Server or through reporting services or through Power BI, or there are various other ways like you can generate the output at the var binary, then you can generate the image file, and you can show in your browser. So if you see here the two installation setup, as I said in this webinar, we will understand how to install. So to be very frank, Microsoft SQL Server or any of the Microsoft products are quite easy to install. Just you need to click next, next, next. It will configure everything if you're going with your default settings, and it works well in most of the cases. So here to start with, if you go, you just install your SQL Server the way you install. When you comes to select the services, if you see at the left hand side, SQL Server 2016 setup, if you see here, it is R services, that is in database, or if you're going with a standalone server, that is R server. In the right hand side of the image, if you see, that is 2017 setup, and there the name got changed, and the name got changed to machine learning services. Under machine learning services, you can see both R and Python. So if you wanted to install both, then you can check both, or if you're going with R only, then you can check R. So that is the announcement in 2017. So quite most important parts once you install are, there are certain components or certain settings which everyone from the DB aspect should know about it. So one thing is that the config file. So you need to go to the SQL Server bin folder, and there is a file called rlauncher.config. In that there are various settings which you can set, like the memory limit percentage, that is default to 20%. That is when SQL Server starts running, the way SQL Server consumes memory. Also, R also consumes memory, so it is a setting how much of memory it will utilize. So if you're giving 20%, make sure you are adjusting your SQL Server memory. So that is one of the feature. If you're doing with in database, it means it is running in the same server. So you need to adjust the memory what SQL Server uses. Or if you're using standalone, then this setting will increase a bit more. Another setting is stress level. The default is 1, so it means it will only log all the errors. If you set to 2, it will select to all performance related stuff. It will log. 3 is for warning, and instance of R session can be run is set based on this value. So this is 10 in MSD, and I found it is 10. In many cases, I have this 0 means I feel it is unlimited, but you need to make sure you should give a proper value to this, and based on that, it will run this many instances of R. Some default recommended, like job cleanup on exit. It means when you run any R instance, it creates a temporary folder, and that temporary folders will be cleaned up automatically when your request is finished. So that is a good way. So the default value is always good, job cleanup on exit. In the log directory, everything you do, the MPI binary home, just right now for the timing, you just ignore that. The R home is where the R service is installed, and the working directory. The working directory path you can set where you want to create all your temporary files, like you can set in an E drive or some F drive where it will create all the temporary files. So that is the working directory. So now, how the code works in action? When you submit the SP execute external script, what it does. So as a SQL developer, I need not require to really know how it handles inside the engine. So only thing is that I just need to submit the XP execute external script with my R script, then treat that R service as a black box. So internally it will handle everything based on my scripting. If I'm doing any, if I have a model created, then it will use that model, or if I have created a plot, then it will use the plot, and it returns me the output. Now, if you see in the whole screen, whole image, I think all looks to you very familiar, except some of the keywords like transform, model, plot, and magic. So don't worry about that. Those are different kind of processing methodology. If anybody is acquainted with R language, then no worries. Just try to understand that I'm giving an input to the R server, and R just processes the data and gives me the output as record set or through different models. So if you see here, R takes input as data frame. So let's understand what is the data frame here. So data frame is used for storing data tables. It is just a list of vectors of equal length. If you see below, I created a variable called n equal to C235, another one with some string with AABBCC, and the third one I created with some Boolean value true and false. So I created a data frame of n, s, and b variable. So this becomes a data frame for me, and I can use that as an input to my R script. So the sp underscore execute underscore external underscore script, that is the stop procedure what you need to utilize every time when you wanted to execute R code within SQL Server SSMS using SSMS. So I need to pass some important, these are three mandatory parameters. We have some optional parameters also. The first parameter is language, that if you're using R, just pass as R. And during 2016, we used to pass only R. Now in 2017, either you can pass R or Python. And script, the script what you write in R, that you can pass as a script inside this variable. And input data one, specify the input data for the R script. For us, it is a TC code statement, or it is treated as a data frame for us. So now the outputs, once the data frame got, then the output what you get, if you relate this with my previous screen, where we have seen the different like models and plots, now we can try to relate that either I can get at output as standard results of rows and columns, the way you get for a normal query, or and the data type will vary based on your return type. And either also you can return as a plot like static image or binary image, or if you're good at your statistical analysis, then you can define a model like in a simple linear model or complex linear model, a linear regression, naive bias, and different algorithms. You can create models on it. So in this today, I will show you how to create that model. So let's go to the demo part. And before I go to the demo, anything you have any question on it so far? Okay. Mohammed, I will answer to your question. So let me take you to the R. You will now think of R, I installed it. So I just need to go and need to go to open. Here I will go and I will do the settings. So first I need to do the settings. If you go and check SPX configure, I just created database machine learning, and in that I'm just executing the script SP configure. If you see here in the row number 9, external script enabled, and the value of minimum is 0 and maximum is 1. It means 0 is disabled, 1 is enabled, and the current value for this one is config value is 0. So I just need to do what? I just need to configure it to 1 and execute. Right now, if you see, I have the config value 1. It means now the R script is enabled. Okay. Can you see now the screen?
I think Sandeep, looks like you got to duplicate your screen. I think it's extended, so you might be able to see, but the audience is not able to see. So could you just recheck?
Is it okay now?
No, Sandeep, still we are not able to see your demo screen. I mean, your VM or SQL.
Okay.
Sandeep, can I try to help in any way? Are you using laptop?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me 1 minute.
Can you minimize? Have you resumed? Yeah, minimize the PPT. Yes.
Now can you see?
Sorry to interrupt, Sandeep. Maybe you might have shared only PPT instead of entire desktop.
Yeah.
Can you try sharing the entire desktop one?
Yes. Try sharing the entire desktop, Sandeep.
Okay. Can you see now?
Yes, Sandeep. Now it comes.
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay.
So Sandeep, if you could just redo what you were doing when we were not able to see the screen, and if you think you've already executed, maybe you can just call out what you did and carry on. Yes. We have 25 minutes, Sandeep. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Amit. So once you install your SQL Server and you just selected your R services, so what you need to do is you just go to this screen. I just created a database, machine learning, and I just execute this sp configure just to make sure whether my external script is enabled or not. So when my screen was not shared, I just executed the below code. That's why you could see right now the config value is 1. So if you wanted to disable it, it is you can disable through 0. So the default value looks like this. And once you enable with sp configure with external script enabled with value passing 1, then you can see now it is enabled. So if you can check it quickly. So if you see here, the value set to 1. So right now you are good to go with running any R code. So before go to R code, I will show you certain settings here. Let's see. So if you see here, this is the launchpad service which runs, which will based on the request, it will go for R or Python. If you see service to launch advanced analytics extension launchpad process that enables integration with Microsoft R open using standard T-SQL statement. Disabling this service will make advanced analytics feature of SQL Server unavailable. So make sure when you execute your R code, if you get any error, just go and check whether this launchpad service is running or not. Also, you have to check certain other component, the config R launcher config file. So if you go to settings, you see this is the R services which is runs here. So if you see here, there are more resources also you'll get out of it, like the documentation. You get to manuals. You can, if you open this manuals, all introduction to R with all the documentation is available. So you can read from here as well. You can learn your basic R. Also, if you go to this bin, rlauncher.config, this is the config file. Here, you can set your different configurable settings. Like user pool, if you see here, I was telling you that default is 0, but it is default is 10, but here it is 0. Maybe with 2017 they have set it up like this. 2016 it's set to 10. Test level 1, job cleanup on exit equal to 1. So these are the different value. It is set it up. You can set here. Or this is the R home path, and this is the working directory. So though you can change all the values according to your need. Now let's go to this and let's run some simple R scripts. So if you see here, I'm just calling this sp execute external scripts, and I'm passing the language. R is my parameter. Script is, if you see here, output data set is my output and input data set is my input. So this is the default value of this parameter. I can give different customized name, which I will show you in my below scripts. So here what you are trying to do, whatever we pass as input, this is input underscore data 1, which will be used as my input data set, and it will give me the output. So whatever I pass as an input, I will just get that output. So let's execute it. So I configured, so this I got the output here. So it's quite simple to execute your R code. So let's create a table now here with sample data. I just stored some value 550, 500 like that, and create a table here. What I'm doing, I'm just reading the table, and I can save. I'm passing that as an input data set, and I will get that output, and the column name will be here, new column name, whatever I wanted to give. Suppose if I wanted to give here test column. So based on your result set, and you can execute it. So you can execute the value. It is quite simple. So far, we are not trying to execute any R code. Here, I'm just showing you what you input. You just simply you are giving the input and you are getting the output out of it. So now, as I said, you can give the name of the input data set these two names. You can give your customized name to this, like the first input data name in the below. I given like SQL input, and I given the output data name as a SQL output. It means instead of output data set, I can use SQL out, and for the input data set, I can use a name SQL in. And the same result, if I give here, I get 12. Generate result using R. So the reason is that R provides many ways to work with column values, vectors, and different ways. So here's another example what I'm giving about a data frame. So if you see here, my text variable is my output, and I'm just combining these two, welcome with data platform, and the output data set is this data frame. Whatever I pass, this will be treated as the input, and it will give me the output data set. So if I execute this, I get the value welcome data platform geeks. So these are simple normal script just to show you that how you can execute a R code. So this section, when you see, this is a part of your R. So to know this R language, you have to go with the R language. You need to understand R properly. Then you can pass any script to this variable, and it will evaluate inside your SSMS. Now let's definitely I will be sharing this script to you guys, so you will try to execute all the codes. I have just created different variation. How can you call the simple thing of the R script? How can you execute? And suppose I wanted to generate random numbers inside R. So what I can use, that there is a function inside R services equal R norm. I just pass 20 and mean value equal to 100. That's I value pass. So if I execute this code, I get all the values with some random values I can get here. So I asked for 20 random numbers. So I got 20 random numbers over here. So here just try to concentrate more on like the different variation, how we can execute the code. Definitely R is a very vast language as far as different functions are concerned. And so you need to learn more on that, and then you can execute. Or you can learn R better way, then you can implement this in your SSMS. So with your SQL Server database. So if you see here, how can you utilize it? Definitely you just call this store procedure under, I just created a wrapper store procedure. I just pass my parameter to that, what parameter I require. And inside that I call this SP execute SQL script, and it will do your job for R. So if I create it, I just created and I just pass my parameter, my random number, my norm 10 and mean is 100, and I can get 10 different random numbers. So this is how you execute quite simple R codes. Now let's go a little bit advanced towards that. How can we do some kind of modeling? I will just try for all of our benefit. I've created a normal simple linear model, and we'll try to execute and see how it is powerful and what are the things we can achieve through the R inside SSMS. So let's go and simple linear regression. So I am trying to create here a simple regression model. You can get the script from the Microsoft as well. So if you see here, what I have trying to do is I'm just creating a table called car speed, and I'm just executing this code. I hope you guys now understand this. So if you see this is the cars, this is the input data set, and this is the output data set. Now, if I execute this code and creating a table, it generates me 50 rows. Now, let's try to understand what happened here. I'm not passing any number. I haven't done anything. That's what Microsoft provides you. Once you install R, it provides you with inbuilt data sets. One of them is cars. So in this cars is a data set provided by Microsoft. So when I'm passing this as a parameter, it just pass those values and I'm inserting to this table. So if I go to this table, you can see various numbers. So speed and distance. So here we are trying to create a model that with different speed, how much distance it will go. So that's why I'm going to do that. So here what we will do, so that's now I have data points with different speed and with what distance it will cover. And we'll create a model right now using this data. So I have created a store procedure here with generate a linear model. To create a linear model, this code is not much complex if you understand it well. So if you see, it is quite simple. You know this output data name. I given a name to this variable train model. This is the input data name, is cast data. And I'm using this to train model and cast data. If you see, this is the cast data, which I'm using as a data. And train model is I'm applying on it. So here, if you see, RxLin model is nothing but a function provided by R, and I'm giving a formula that this says that distance is dependent on the speed. So the distance is a dependent variable on speed, and we are just giving the input whatever the values what we just inserted in this table, car speed. So I will give all this value to this, or different speed with distances, and based on that, this Rx linear model function will design a model, and it will give me that model, which model will store and utilize our data on it to predict for the new data set, for the new speed, what will be the distance. So let me create the store procedure. Now, to store the different distance, I just need to, this output will give me a trained model. So to store that, I just created a table called stopping distance model. So this is nothing but a model name. I have just given a name default model, and the model, which is the var binary max, which I will get output from the store procedure. Then I'm creating a new car speed. These are the different speed. For this, I wanted to predict that what would be the distance. So I created this table. Now I have 7 rows on this. So for 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100 speed, what will be the distance? We will predict based on the model what you created using this data, using the car speed data. So what we just need to do right now, we already created a model. Though already a model is getting created. Then get the new input data. This is the input data I created, and we'll call the R predictive function to predict it what will be the distance it will cover for this new values. So I have not yet run. So if I go to this table, I do not have anything in this. So let's start from this table. So model name, model, nothing is there. So let me execute our store procedure, which we created above here, and which will create a model for me based on the data provided. So I have created a model over here using this RX linear model. This is nothing but my simple linear regression. And if I go to now to this store table, I can see a model is ready here. So now we will use this model and predict what will be the distance it will cover for this new speeds data what you are providing. So now I need to call another script. So what I need to do, I just need to first read the model, because if I use right now, I'm using in this demo only one model. I can have multiple models. So I just need to find out which model I wanted to apply over here. So I just need to query this table, stopping distance model. And since I given a name to the model as default model, so that I will get the model output and I will store in the speed model, binary variable. Then I will utilize this and let's see how the R predict our different distances. So this is the script what I need to execute. So before I execute, let me explain this script well. So why I'm explaining over here is that just to understand what are the things you can achieve through R. I understand that this is not to teach you about R, and this webinar is not for that. But if you utilize at least this scripts, you will understand the initial and the beginning level of executing R code, and probably you can explore more on it. So I'm just trying to show you how easy it is to design a predictive model using a simple linear regression. So here, if you see again, I will start from the below. I'm just passing the speed model, which is the model what I will be using to predict the values. Then this is the parameter which I will be passing. This is the speed model which I'm already generated here. The input data name is new cast data. New cast data is my new input data, what I have stored here. And the new input data I'm getting from this table. So it is from this table. So the input data one stores all the data, and I give a name called as new cast data. So now if you see here, what I have designed is I need to first get the current model. So since it is stored as a var binary, I need to use a method called onSerialize, and it will get the model. It will read this speed model which you're passing as a parameter and stored in the current model. So now the R understand that which model it needs to apply for it. Now the data frame, you know that what do you mean by data frame? It is nothing but for us here, the new data, different speeds I apply and store in the new variable. Now I need to predict the distance. So what I need to do for this prediction, I just need to use a function called rsPredict. In this rsPredict takes two parameters. One is the current model, which I already passed here, I stored here. This current model and with the new data. New data is nothing but my different speeds. So for the different speeds, using the current model, please help me to predict what are the different instances I will get. This is the line it will do for me. The below line just ignore. This is just for printing, for debugging purpose. Then once you get the data with predict distance, then I just need to combine this new stores all my speeds, and this will store all my distances, the predictive, whatever the output I get from this one. And the cbind is just a method to combine your result set and will show you in a tabular form. Then if I execute this code now, it predicts me. These are the speeds what I given input, and these are the predicted distance what it will cover. So it is quite easy to execute this code, it is quite simple. You just need to learn. When you learn R, just need to understand the different models, how to create the models, what are the different functions it has, and you just need whatever the data you have in your tables, you can utilize that and you can create different models and you can apply different algorithms on top of it. It's quite easy. So this is the demo for today, and also there are ways to, there is one limitation over here that you cannot generate different plots or different graphs over here because SSMS doesn't allow you to do that. But yes, there are workarounds. Once you get the binary data, you just stream to, and you can create a JPG file, and inside SSMS you can run open Explorer also, and you can render that. So that's how you can see the different plots also inside SSMS. So I think I'm done. Any question? Okay, so the summary what we discussed today is about we learned what is Microsoft R open source and what is Microsoft R services, and the machine learning services we called this one as in SQL Server 2017, and this was in 2016 it was only R services. We can run our code in two ways: inside in databases or standalone by installing standalone. In this today's demos we used in database. How can you execute the code? That is using your SP execute external script. And the R launcher is the component which decides based on the parameter which you pass for as a language. Based on that, it decides which launcher to launch. In our case, since we pass R, so it is launched the R launcher. So I could see the okay, there are a couple of questions.
So Sandip, we will take the questions after we close the webinar because it's being recorded as well.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Sandip, for such a wonderful session today, and just want to enlighten the audience about PreCon at the DPS 2018. So some of you, I guess, are very keen on data science and R and Python and whatnot. So I think many of you know at DPS 2018, we are having 12 PreCons, and these are full day classes, demo-based deep dive. And here are the first one will be troubleshooting and optimizing SQL Server by Dimitri, which he's from US and he's a Microsoft certified master of SQL. Then the second one we have is on migrating your on-premise database to Azure SQL DB and managed instance. This is by Sunil Agarwal. He was one of our most popular speakers in 2015 and 2016. He's a principal program manager at Microsoft US, and he's going to join us this year again. Reza Rad will deliver Power BI from rookie to rockstar. He is a Power BI expert and MVP from New Zealand. We have Leila Itati, who is a data scientist and MVP from New Zealand. She's going to deliver a full day class on leading edge data science with Microsoft tools. Fifth one is Andy Leonard, worldwide SSIS expert. He's going to deliver a full day session on a day of intelligent data integration with SSIS and ADF. Sixth one, Madan Gajendran from Microsoft and his Cosmos DB team is going to do a full day workshop on Azure Cosmos DB. Seventh one, again, Leila Itati. This is going to be on 8th August. As you know, pre-cons are spread across August 6th and August 7th. And Dr. Leila Itati is going to deliver her second pre-con on building intelligent applications using Microsoft AI platform. Steph Loki is going to deliver a full day class on practical R for everyone. This is something that you might really be keen on in case you join today's webinar. So she is a worldwide expert in R, Python, and a very prominent figure in data science world. Sanjay Mishra with his SQL CAT team is going to deliver a few sessions at the conference and a full day workshop on building a scalable data architecture in Azure. CAT team, by the way, in case you don't know, is called as Customer Advisory Team, which does and manages some of the toughest deployments of SQL. Denny Cherry will be delivering a full day PreCon on HADR, and Joey D. Anthony is going to deliver a full day PreCon on Linux for the SQL Server DBA. Last but not the least, we have Peter Myers joining us back again. He was the most popular speaker from last year, and he's going to do a full day workshop on zero to analysis services. So 12 worldwide experts and 12 full day classes as part of DPS 2018 PreCons. Remember, all these speakers are also going to deliver full day breakout sessions, chalk talks, and open talks at the conference. So take your call, and of course, as I said, visit dps10.com or write an email to contact@dps.com in case you're interested. We can send someone from our team will send more details to you, to your managers, talk to your company, and get sponsored into this summit. Those of you who joined a little late, Data Platform Summit is happening in the month of August from 9 to 11 August, and PreCons that I just talked about is 7 to 8 August. This is a 100% learning event, and the only event that happens in Asia where Microsoft product team members in great numbers join in Bangalore. They fly down and they deliver sessions across the entire data stack of Microsoft. Along with them, we will have MVPs and MCMs from 15 different countries. So great learning event. Well, with this, I hope all of you have, we have posted today's group picture, friends, in the Facebook group. Your feedback will be much appreciated. It really motivates our speakers to come and deliver more sessions for all of you. So that's the group where today's pic is being posted. Please join there, give your feedback, post a few comments, like the pic, share them, let people know that how well you enjoyed today's webinar. And a quick word about SQLMaestros.com. In case you are more interested in advanced training, just visit SQLMaestros.com. There are few options out there, few offerings from SQL Maestros that you might be interested on, or just drop an email to classes@SQLMaestros.com. I want you to pay a quick attention to this hands-on lab project, which is gaining a lot of attention from the community. If you want to practice any demo, any Microsoft concept step by step, just go and create your free account. There are a lot of these free labs that you can try. With this, we will end today's webinar. Thank you very much for joining us today. These are some of the links that you may follow. Our Twitter is on @SQL Server Geeks. And we are also available on Facebook and LinkedIn, and you have the URLs. So we'll go ahead and stop the recording here. This recording is going to be available to you on DataPlatformGeeks.com. And now over to Sandip to answer a few questions. Sandip, you can call out the question that the person is asking and then answer it. Sure. We can do it for maybe another 5 to 10 minutes. Sandip, over to you.